A beautiful morning to you all. You're on to KASU FM 98.5. My name is Aisha Dalhat. I'm going to be your presenter today on the program Meet the Entrepreneur. And meeting the entrepreneur you shall in person of Amatullah Machidu, who happens to be a student of this prestigious university, a tailor, a blogger, a writer, and so many other things. You're welcome, Mo.
Thank you.
Don't go away. I'm sure you're curious about this Wonder Woman. We'll be right back after this short musical timeout. Welcome back. It's still KASU FM and your favorite program, Meet the Entrepreneur, and a program that helps you do entrepreneurship the right way through inspiring stories and facts. And our guest of today is Amatullah Machidu. Can you please give us your brief history, ma'am?
Okay. I am a student here in Kaduna State University. And before that, I was a student in FC Zaria, and I did my secondary school and primary school here in Kaduna, Capital School to be precise.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm from Zaria, and I'm Hausa by tribe and all.
Okay. After your secondary school, where did you attend?
After my secondary school, I got admission in FC Zaria.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means you're a teacher too?
Yes. Yes, I guess.
All right. So what do you do?
Okay, I am a tailor. I'm a blogger, and I also write. Well, I'm not really consistent, but I try to put it into my schedule once in a while.
How many books did you write so far?
Well, I've written one book, which is complete, and it's an online book, Fighting Fire with Ice. And I'm writing the second one presently, although I've not gone very far, but it's still ongoing.
Okay, so where can one get your stories?
Well, it's on Wattpad, but if you don't have Wattpad, you can simply search Fighting Fire with Ice on your browser, and it will show you the Wattpad story. You could just view it from there. And if you're on Wattpad, it's easier. You could just search and you could read it. It's absolutely free.
So what motivates you into writing?
Sometimes I have a lot of thoughts about the society and things I see that are wrong, especially, I'm not a feminist, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. I'm not a feminist.
So what is wrong in being a feminist?
Well, it's not wrong per se, but that's not what I'm about. What I'm about is what I see that is wrong, especially from the female version. I'm a typical Ario lady, and growing up, I've seen a lot of things that I felt are not really normal, so I thought writing about them would make a difference.
Example?
Well, let's say marriages, there's this pressure in Ariwa to get married. So most Aria girls just go into it without really knowing what it's about. And then they end up being disappointed because most people think marriages are a fairy tale. I know a lot of people like that. And then they went in and then they realized that it's not actually like that.
Perfect. They think it's a perfect thing.
Yes. And then they go there and then it's absolutely wrong. And then these marriages end up breaking, especially recently. We've been seeing it. Marriages are just not what they used to be.
The rate of divorce is something else in this region.
I think someone once told me if there was a celebration for divorces like marriages, you would be surprised how many marriages have broken so far.
Yes, because they break in silence. Yes,
exactly.
So you're trying to change the narrative with your stories, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about fighting fire with ice, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, just tell a little bit about the story.
Well, okay. There was this girl, her name is Zainab, and she was living in a family, and her mother was not still in the house. She was living with her stepmother, and her stepmother was pressuring her. And so she met someone in a very short time, and she needed to get out of the situation she was in. So she decided to marry him without knowing much about him. All she knew is that he was from a very rich family, and he was well-to-do.
That is a mistake most people make.
Yes.
Yes.
So when she got into the marriage, she didn't know that he had a long-time love that he wanted to marry in the first place. So she was just like an option he picked because he didn't get the other girl. And so there were a lot of complications. He kept bringing her into her house. She didn't know how to handle that situation, and she was not experienced. Her parents didn't teach her what marriage was about. So it was very difficult for her.
You know, there's that thing we have here in the north. I don't know, they call it shyness or...
Yes, they don't really,
That relationship, you know.
Yeah, we're not
parents
really...
ought to sit their children down and teach them about life and marriage.
Yes.
But they tend to like sweep it under the carpet. They are shy, they don't want to talk about it. And
Yes, I think mostly
and wish such problems would just go away.
And it doesn't, actually.
It doesn't,
It
yes.
doesn't.
So, back to your tailoring and schooling. So, what do you sew? What do you do?
Well, okay. I tailor. First of all, my first priority is school. I try as much as possible to make sure that my school does not get affected by everything else that I do.
How do you do that?
It's very difficult, but here in school we have a group. I have friends that...
And by the way, what course? Why are you studying political science?
Yes. So in my class, I have friends, and my friends, we're very passionate about political science in general. So we have this group. We normally sit down and we discuss after classes mostly. Sometimes we do tutorials. We organize tutorials for ourselves. So although it's difficult, I try to attend these things because they're the only things that would help me to catch up, since I don't normally get time to read at home like most people do.
Okay, tailoring, writing, political science. They seem apart. So what's the connection?
Okay, there's no connection. Tailoring is something I learned.
There is a connection. A connection because they are a part of you.
Yes, they are things I love doing. Writing is something I can't really explain. When I have an emotion, I write.
You express yourself through writing. Yes,
exactly. So sometimes I write quotes and poems and stuff like that. And fashion design, also, it just comes to my head. I see something and I want to just see it sewed, then I just try to do that. And I wear a lot of my designs. I like wearing them because I feel that they're good enough. So
you're proud of what
yes,
you're
I'm
doing.
proud of it. So, and if I'm not proud of it, nobody else would. I mean, if I don't make them good enough for me to wear, then why would anyone else wear them? Yeah. And then
why pole science?
Well, okay, I wanted to go for law in the beginning. I really loved it because I talk.
You wanted to be a lawyer.
Yes, I wanted to, and my mom did not like it, but she didn't object to it. But when I applied in the university, I got political science. So that was my first JAM. When I didn't get into ABU, I got to FCE, and then I studied political science in FCE.
Okay, you studied after your secondary school. You went to FCE.
Yes.
After your FCE, then you wrote JAM.
Yes, and then I came to KASU.
You came to KASU.
Yes.
Wow.
So I think FCE was the reason I decided to still study political science in KASU, because I fell in love with the course from there. I didn't want it, but when I learned about it, I loved it. So I decided to go for it.
Okay. So what are your challenges?
Well, my biggest challenge is putting a balance to all these things that I love doing.
Striking balance between schooling,
yes,
entrepreneurship. Well,
yes.
Writing is part of entrepreneurship too.
Yes, exactly. It's very difficult to do different things that are not related. Well, related but not really related.
Because they are part of you.
Yes.
So that makes them related. Yeah.
Yes. I try to put a balance to it.
How do you do that? Time management or what?
I'm very bad with managing time. I don't know, maybe I'm still learning to adapt. But I try to, you see, blogging is something you could do.
Oh, I forgot about the blogging aspect.
Yes.
So, blogging.
Yes.
Can you tell us about the blogging?
Okay, my blog, I launched last year, thenorthernprime.com. I've been doing a free blog like before, but I started officially last year, and it's mostly writing.
Okay.
So I think it's still, because I'm a writer, it's easier for me to just come up with things and write. So I write about things that are happening in the society, and then I write about Arewa talents, because I feel like there's so much talent in Arewa and people are don't really know. So I try to write about things like that too. So the blog is easy because you could like put things that are part of your life in the blog, especially like political science. This is something I also write about politics and on my blog, and then I write about my fashion design too, like my tailoring. I write them. So
your blog could be like a kind of motivation for other Iowa youths and to do well.
Yes.
To do better.
Yes. So when you go to my blog and you see most of the things I post is Iowa
you encourage
related.
them.
Yes, it's an encouragement.
Okay. But okay, you said you started the blog because you wanted to change. That what made you start the blog is the same thing that made you to start writing.
Yes. Right? So those ones are related.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand they can be matched. So, yeah, but you still did not answer. How do you manage that time? How do you make a timetable or what?
I don't make a timetable. When tailoring is, okay, it comes. When people order, I have to deliver. When I'm in school, I try to tell them, okay, I have exams or I have a test. I can't really deliver by this time. So you
prioritize?
Yes, I prioritize, exactly. My school first, fashion design and tailoring actually second, then blog third, writing comes under.
If I understand you well, you want to make yourself better in order to motivate others, right? That's why you prioritize your education first?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like education is the most important, even if you won't use it.
Education is always useful.
Yes, exactly. You can put it into your entrepreneurship life. Like
it's
you
light,
could apply it.
you know?
Yes, you could apply it everywhere. That is why it is so important.
It's just like a bulb. It doesn't light for its own self.
Yes, exactly.
All right. We'll take a short break. Welcome back. It's still Mega Entrepreneur at KASU FM 98.5, Voice of Peace and Unity. Do you have any personal experience that you want to share with us?
Well, I have a lot of experience, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I started from scratch. I started from 2 kimonos, actually.
Well, what made you? I'm really curious. What prompted you into entrepreneurship? You started entrepreneurship first, right?
Yes.
What prompted you into entrepreneurship?
Well, when I lost my father, may Allah have granted peace, in 2012, I wanted to do, because when he was alive, I never thought of anything entrepreneurship because I was always dependent on him.
You didn't lack anything.
Yes, exactly. But when he was gone, I realized that I needed so much that I couldn't have, and I just couldn't depend on anyone to give those things to me. So I wanted to be a person of myself. I wanted to have my own, so that nobody else would say, okay, I'm always asking them for something. And then another motivation was thinking about my own future as a potential wife, because I know that eventually I'll get married and I'll have my own children, and you can't expect life to always go your way. Even if you're married to someone who has a lot of money or has enough or adequate, it doesn't matter. One day the coins might tip and you might be in a position you wouldn't like. So if you don't have anything else to do,
making yourself useful.
Yes, and then okay, jobs again. We all know that employment is very hard these days. You could go to school, finish, and then not have anything to do. So entrepreneurship still is the key to that. You would have at least something you do and you get your small money, even if it's not much, but we always aim to get enough. Yes.
So because you're passionate about fashion. you thought about tailoring?
Yes. No. Yes.
Or
Tailoring. I had my first sewing machine in 2012, but I never used to tailor. I started tailoring in 2015 after my NCE.
okay, after your NCE, you started
Yes,
tailoring.
that is when I started to go into it properly. That is when I started with those kimonos, and then.
Did you go into training or
Well,
you just...
okay, in 2012, before I got admission, I started training, but I didn't stay long. I stayed for a month, and then I got admission, so I had to leave.
Okay.
So when I finished school in 2015, I think most of my abayas, kimonos, I think I taught myself how to do these things.
Well, because you learned the basic.
Yes, I learned
think,
the basics.
The mistake most youth make, especially when they finish their secondary school, they sit at home, do nothing.
Yes.
They're supposed to go and learn a skill
Yes, exactly.
to improve themselves
Yes.
in one way or the
So
other.
yes, even though I didn't learn it properly from anyone, I used to go online and then check tutorials on how to cut these things, and then I started like small, and I started, of course, my first work was very rough, but eventually I learned. Yes,
Practice makes perfect.
yes, exactly, practice makes perfect.
With how much did you start?
Wow, 3,000 naira.
Well, that's encouraging and motivating.
Like,
you know, some people always say, I don't have money to start business. I don't have
Yeah.
money. I don't have money. I want to start huge, you know.
Yeah.
But you can start small.
Yes, you can start small.
Yes.
And imagine my
Start
own story.
small and dream big. Someone once told me, start small and dream big.
Yes.
With that, you will succeed.
Succeed, inshallah.
Yeah. So who's your role model?
Okay, I have 3. Okay, I'm going to start with my mom.
Okay.
Because yeah, she's trying very well, and she encourages me. I see how she does her best to do everything, and I want to be like her. I want to be as strong as she is. And then secondly,
How strong is she?
well, okay.
I mean, how does she encourage you?
You see, like, when we lost our dad, she walks, yes.
Okay.
And even though she's not really getting much, she tries to make sure that it's enough. So, and in difficult situations, she's always faithful. She tries to remember that, okay, this is not permanent. It will get better. And
Hope.
then, yes. And then she teaches us that life is not really always going to be but you have to be patient. You have to work hard, and you have to know that if you work hard, even if it doesn't go your way, know that you did your best.
Yes.
Know that you did your best. So that is how. And even with my sewing, she always, even up to today, she still sinks in her money in my business, even though I'm still...
She's supportive.
Yes, exactly.
She supports you to be somebody. She supports you to do things.
Yes.
To change things, to improve, to do things on your own way.
Yes, exactly. So I think she's my biggest role model. And
you're lucky.
Yes. Okay, and then secondly, I am opportune to have a niece who's an entrepreneur, and I also saw her start from nothing, and she has become very successful. So she's my second role model. I'm sure she doesn't know it, but she encourages me a lot when I see how far she has gone and how good she has become from the time she started. I'm very, very encouraged. And then thirdly, there's Alhan Islam, Maryam Bukar. She's Hawamai's daughter. Okay. She's very young. I think she's younger than me, but she's a motivational speaker. She's a poet. She's a writer. She motivates me in that aspect. I see her work and I'm impressed. And even though she's married, she's also balancing all these things. And yeah, she really encourages me too.
Wow, that's great. So how do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Woo, 5 years!
Yes.
Okay, 5 years. Well, I see myself finishing school. That is I'll finish next year. So inshallah.
So you're in level 3, right?
Yes, I'm in level 3. So, inshallah, I want to focus on the things I'm passionate about after school. That's my tailoring and my blog first. So, I feel like in the next 5 years, I should be bigger. I should have my own shop. I should have my own, hopefully, a studio I could work for my blog. Inshallah, I'm hoping that I feel like that's something I can achieve in the next 5 years. Inshallah. And then, the next 5 years, I also see myself married.
With 10 kids.
Inshallah. Yeah. So I hope, I feel like I will find a way to balance all these things, inshallah, in the next 5 years.
I hope so too.
Yes, thank you.
So, what's your source of motivation? Okay, you told me your mom, and a word of advice for students out there. I'm sure they're listening to you.
Well, first of all, school is not supposed to be pleasant. I have a lot of people in my class that have performed very poorly, and they blame the school, the society, but really all you have to blame is yourself. Admissions these days are very, very hard to come about, and then you come to school and you don't attend classes, you don't do your test, you don't do your assignments. How do you expect to pass? So my advice, first of all, to students is know why you're in school. Do what you're supposed to do at the time you're supposed to do it. Don't wait till it's too late. It's hard, it's difficult, there's so many distractions, but you have to turn away from those distractions and do what you're supposed to do at the right time. And then another word of advice, as much as school is important, know that these days you have to have a skill or a talent, something else you could depend on, and not just education. It will help you a lot. So entrepreneurship, I'm sure we take ENT in 300 level. So try to adapt something, try to learn a skill, and then try to mentor someone. Because as much as it's you, also think about those coming up. Mentor someone, teach someone that, okay, this is how life is now, and you have to stand on your feet. And then also, entrepreneurship is also hard. Customers are difficult.
Do you have an experience?
Yes, I have a lot of experience.
Can you share some of your experience with customers? How do you someone, I'm in a hurry. She's in school.
Yes.
I have other people that I can go to, And
Yes.
sometimes customers claim that they are always right.
No, that is the biggest claim. Customers are always right. But of recent, I have tried to strike a balance between a customer that is right and that one that you just have to cut off. Like, it's difficult. A customer would come to you with a budget of 5,000 and he wants you to give him something extraordinary, although it's not impossible to do something extraordinary with his budget, but they have to understand that there are limits to those. If you have a budget of 5,000, then I'll do something of 5,000. Don't expect me to do something of 10,000. So, but someone will come with a big, like maybe in fashion design, a very beautiful dress that has so much accessories and glitters.
But they don't want to spend.
Yes, but they don't want to spend. So that is also something that I think customers needs to be considerate, that this is work. We don't want to do something and then keep it and then people will not buy. But you have to understand that there are challenges to this country. We have transportation and we have all those equipments you need. You have even the internet
and I think
now.
It's about value.
Yes.
Most of us don't value Nigerian handmade products.
Yes, exactly. We don't actually.
Someone will just tell me, is it not so?
Is it not so? Is it not my time I'm using to sew? Imagine.
I know someone that used to answer them, okay, sew it yourself.
Yeah, wow.
Another person will just say, it's your talent now. It's your talent. Me, I don't know how to sew.
Difficult. Sewing is very difficult. You have to sit down in one place and then do these things.
And they don't really remember that you have to buy those accessories.
Exactly. Okay, if
and materials
if it's you bringing your material to sew for you, it's easier. Okay, I'll just tell you, okay, your fee is maybe 3,000.
And they forget about the price of the material.
Yes. You have to buy these things. You have to buy the fabric, you have to buy thread, you have to buy, if you're using any other accessory, you still have to buy that. And then there are so many other things. So
and the workmanship.
Yes, workmanship. So most of the time you see that the workmanship is not even much, but it's those things that you need to buy that take up all the money. So I think it's even better for you to bring your fabric and tell me to sew it than tell me to do...
Because most of the time, someone will just start looking at that 5,000 is all yours. Like you didn't use the money to buy the fabric.
They forget to remember that, okay...
You bought fabric.
You bought fabric. You bought other things.
So how do you make them understand all these things?
Well, sometimes people would just not understand. Sometimes even when you try to explain, they just feel like, okay...
I think maybe what you're supposed to do is you list, okay, fabric costs so price, accessories.
I think there was a customer I had to do that for because... She,
no, on each fabric.
Okay, yeah.
So, maybe they will understand better.
Yeah, I think maybe to do the costing would even be better, and then you put your workmanship at the end. I think maybe that's also another
maybe they will understand.
Yes, exactly.
Customer behavior and so on.
Yeah, customers, some of them are very good. Some of them are very, they patronize you, and understanding also. But majority don't really try to put themselves in your shoe, which I don't blame them for actually, but still sometimes try to put yourself in another person's shoe. Yeah.
On which platform do you make most of your sales? How do you sell your products?
Well, I'm mostly active on Instagram and on Twitter.
Why Instagram?
Well, Instagram is an app that allows you to showcase your products in form of pictures. You get to snap those things, you get to do videos on them, and you post them. People see them, and if they like them, they order. You also have the option of doing an advert, which you pay for. Even those that are not following you will see it. If they're interested, they contact you for it. And then Twitter also. Twitter is more of retweets. Someone will see something on your timeline and they like it, they order. And sometimes we even post it and we say, please retweet, because our customers might not necessarily be on our own timeline. They might be on your timeline. So if you retweet it, they'll see it and then they'll contact us. I don't do much on Facebook. I think I'm afraid to go the extra mile because I don't want to tamper with my school.
Okay. You're being careful, slow but steady wins service.
Yes, and alhamdulillah, I have made a lot of progress. From the time I started till now.
That's great.
Yes.
Any personal experience, like maybe you had a bad time with maybe a customer and then you didn't know what to do and you have class,
Yes. There was a customer I was supposed to sew for. She ordered about 5 abayas. So when she ordered, I was not in town. I was in Abuja. So I told her I have to come back first, and she said she would wait. So when I came back, I got the accessories that I was supposed to use, and then some of them I couldn't get because she was very specific about what she wanted. So those I couldn't get, I told her, okay, since they're going to restock, let's wait a bit till we restock. So when eventually I got everything, I started the work. She became impatient because it took some time before I started, and then I still have to go to school. So she kept calling me. Sometimes I'll be in class and she'll call. I don't do the whole when customer calls you don't pick because you've not done their work. I normally pick up and I try to
some tailors really do that.
Yes, or they switch off their phones. Yes. I have never done that. And I don't want to do it. I want to stay as honest as I can with my customers. If I can't do it, I'll tell you I can't do it. If you can wait, wait. If you can't,
rather than disappoint, promise and disappoint. Most of them they gather people's clothes and at the end of the day they can't make it.
Yes.
And they tend to start avoiding people.
Yes. So she kept calling me. She called me. I was in class, and I told her I'll call her back. And when I went home, she called me, and I told her, I'm not done with your clothes, but if you want me to send you the ones I finished with, I can do that. And if you can't wait for the rest, then maybe I could refund you the rest of your money. And then that was when because I told her, I said, I cannot beat this time you're giving me. And then she said something like... You
were being honest.
Yes, she said something like, don't rush my work. I was like, Auntie, you're rushing me. What do you expect? But if you don't want me to rush your work, then this is the solution.
Be patient.
Yes, be patient. I'll do it. But if you can't wait, then this is another option. I try not to let my anger show. I try not to get frustrated. Yes, because
one
sometimes
of the ethics of entrepreneurship is that you should always try to be calm. Yes, to be calm and be on top of situation.
Yes, sometimes you see a person will call you, they'll start yelling at you.
Sometimes because you sell things or you make things.
So they feel like they can look down on you.
And on ordinary, they can't do such to you.
Yes, exactly.
Under normal circumstances, they can't shout at you or treat you badly. But because you're selling something or you're making something, they feel they have every right
to do
to maltreat you.
And honestly, as an entrepreneur, I don't take that, and I don't expect any other entrepreneur to. If you start shouting at me, I won't shout at you back, but honestly, I would just refund your money and tell you I can't do it, because I think there's a limit to everything. We're all human beings and we need to be treated as such. I feel like doing that would show that I don't have any value for myself. So I don't tolerate that.
So you try to strike a balance between that.
Yes.
But I always wonder why they feel, maybe because they feel they are buying stuff from you, or
yes, they feel like,
so they feel because they're paying, but they're paying for that particular product or service, not you.
Not you. Exactly.
Why treat you bad?
I think people forget that, okay, when you put yourself out there to get, you're putting yourself out there to get. And then making you feel bad is not helping anybody. And I also want to give an advice to entrepreneurs out there. Do not be ashamed to showcase your hustle. Yes. Do not be ashamed of your hustle. Some people don't like posting it on their social media or on their WhatsApp because they feel like people will look down on them. And yes, people do look down on you. But remember that you're there for a target. Try to achieve that target. And eventually these people will start to look up to you.
Be proud of what you're doing.
Yes, be proud of your work.
When you hide it, nobody would know what you're doing.
Yes, exactly. And people would look down on it. They wouldn't think it's anything.
Have confidence in whatever you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
And believe in yourself. First, if you don't believe in yourself, no one will believe
in you. Yes. And the more serious you take yourself, the more people will take you seriously. If you don't take yourself serious, nobody will take you seriously. That means you're a joke.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
How time flies. I wish we could go on and on and on, but unfortunately we need to put a stop here. Hope you've learned a lot from Amatula's experience, and I hope it will help you in one way or the other. On behalf of our guest, Amatula Machido, I hope you accept our invitation.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And our anchor person, Mr. Jonathan Baturi, and the station manager, Elias Laden. I, Aisha Mohammed Al-Had, is thanking all of you that have listened to the program and hope that you join us same station, same time next week for another exciting episode. Have a blessed day.